All right, you're back on the Fall River Show with Mark Dion, the second half. And our guest, clear up all name confusion. What do you want me to call you?
YaBoi LoCo, or my real name's Chris Agia. Facebook's Sean Xavier.
Yeah, I like YaBoi LoCo.
Yeah, well, we can give you that name if you want.
No.
Your boy Mark.
That's yours, YaBoi LoCo. Look at me, man. I'm way too old to have boy anywhere in the name, you know. All right. You're a Fall River guy.
Yep.
Born here.
Yep.
How old are you, if you don't mind? And I lie, man. Just lie.
Yeah, I'm 30 now.
Yeah. Okay. Me too.
I'm actually.
Let's both be 30.
I'm turning 39 this month. Couple days actually.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing. I'm going to tell you that because old guys tell you that stuff. That's nothing. 80-year-old guys tell me that.
I lived through the 90s of Fall River. So
living through the 2020s aren't that great either.
Yeah, no, not in Fall River. I mean, it's a lot better than it used to be, but
you think so?
Than it used to be?
Yeah.
Well, when I grew up, yeah, you know.
Why?
When I grew up, everybody, was in a gang, and the '90s, everybody wanted to be a gang member. There was more gang violence, in my opinion. Being involved in it, unfortunately, I was part of the problem.
Yeah, you have a little bit of a history.
Yeah, I was
seeing more shootings now, though.
Well, yeah, maybe it's a little more accessible. It's easier to get.
I think in the '90s, because I started as a reporter in the city in '93, and that was like the '90s were like baseball bat territory.
Yeah.
We used to joke about that.
Yeah.
That the classic Fall River weapon was an aluminum baseball bat.
Yeah, a bat, a chain,
a
hatchet, things like that.
Tradition.
Yeah, traditional stuff.
But yeah, we used to joke about that because you used to hear it so often on the scanner.
Yeah.
You get a little more bang bang now.
Yeah, definitely, and it's sad. It really is sad.
So you had a little past in some stuff that kind of wasn't going to make you happy for the rest of your life.
No, I mean, I was pretty much oblivious, to the lifestyles that I chose, and I thought I was happy, because I was making fast money, beautiful girls, nice things that I'd buy, but, going to the Dartmouth House of Correction once a year for a vacation, gets old eventually. It took me a little longer than I wish it did, but eventually I woke up, and realized that's not the life I'm trying to,
And just a lifetime of observation and kind of work in that area as a street reporter. Those guys die broke.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
It's like a big deal because you're making like a G a week selling whatever it is that you're selling.
Yeah.
And 58, you're a freaking wreck and you die in state prison somewhere 90% of the time.
Yeah, you die broke or you end up in jail and everybody forgets about you.
Yeah.
And you're broke in jail.
People overdose.
I mean, I put all that stuff away, and I'm not making, I'm not strumming for money. But compared to what I was, I'd rather be in this financial situation than I was then. It's a big difference.
It's a little more rustful.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. No looking over my back.
Right. Nobody's looking for you, law enforcement or otherwise.
Right. I don't have to lie to the police. I can tell them the truth.
If you get pulled over, you're like, "Hi, officer.
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I was speeding." Or,
what do I have a tail light out, man?
Right. Yeah.
Do I have a tail light out instead of "Oh crap, you better not look under the seat"?
Yeah. And the Facebook name Sean Xavier. That's actually the reason why. And I can't change it. They won't let me change it. Facebook won't let me change it. But that's the reason why I have that name was because of my past and the choices, so I had to have like an alias.
Oh, all right.
So I could post some of my stuff and not be found.
All right.
So.
And you're kind of a multi-directional guy right now. I mean, you're doing a podcast, right?
Yeah, I think it's the ADD. I don't know. I'm everywhere.
And you're rapping, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
So I started writing music. I was like 11 or 12 years old. I used to get the CDs with the books in them, and they had the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I'd take some of the songs and I just change them and put the word "loco" in it when it was the guy's name, and reword it a little bit. So and then
that's
I realized,
actually kind of cute.
Yeah, I mean, I realized, I'm like, I once I started changing it more and more, I'm like, wow, I actually have a flow and
I can kind of do it.
Yeah. So then I started writing, and so, but. I did that. I've done that since then, but I've never really focused on it until the last couple of years. And that being because of my past, I'm just so heavily involved in the street and street type of things,
It's funny because for my for my age and demographic, which is a 64-year-old white man, I've always liked rap. I did from the beginning, and I could never, you know, it was like Sugar Hill or Grandmaster Flash or something, like real old stuff, you know.
The beginning,
Yeah, and I liked it at the beginning, and it took me a while to figure out why, but what it is I've spent my life as a writer, and you can say, yeah, wrote for newspapers.
Right.
It's still writing.
Right. You get to put what's in here on paper.
And I thought
then it
some
goes
of
to
those
everybody
guys
else.
know how to make, yeah, there's a lot of people doing rap that's not very good. There's a lot of people writing for newspapers that aren't very good. But I would hear this stuff and I would think that guy can really make the words move.
Yeah, it's creation. It's creation and progress.
And that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was never one of those older guys who was like, oh, that's not real music. Listen, if you look, sometimes somebody will post on Facebook like the top 10 songs of, you know, like when I was in high school, like 1974. And let me tell you, we were listening to a lot of crap too.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it was really good, but you'll see stuff and think, oh, yeah, that was a hit and it sucked. You know, it's like that. So you're doing that. I got interested in talking to you because you've done a lot of homeless videos.
Yeah. I've been in the, what they call tent cities.
What got you going on?
What gets me going?
What got you into that?
So, I mean, when we first met, you asked me, you know, what do I do, right? And it was like one of the first questions. And I said, you said, I film my world, you know. So I'll film the hip-hop stuff. I'll film the shows, right? But I'll also film what I see outside my door, you know. The drug addict that, you know, is ODing in my next door neighbor's yard, and I got to call an ambulance and get them home safe. I'll film that, you know, to bring awareness to that. I'll go into the woods because, you know, you hear about this tent city, but we don't see it, right? We don't. It's not like New York.
Yeah, you can't see it from the road. No.
Right. You know, right on Main Street, there's not a bunch of tents on Main Street, right? They're out in the woods, and so I go, what we can see is the panhandles, and I'll get to that. But what I do is I go into the woods and I show this stuff because I'm curious, you know, when somebody tells me, you know, there's 14 people sleeping in the woods. So I go and I film it to raise awareness because, you know, it's been brought to me, my attention, and I can't ignore it. It's just, you know, like I said, I film my world. I can't ignore it. I show it and I spotlight it. And what's interesting, I have family and friends who say, hey, that video, that's not Fall River. I'm like, yeah, that's Fall River. They, you know, they want to know exactly where. I don't tell them and all that, but that's Fall River. If you go on my channel, YaBoiLoCoTV, all right?
Free ad. No, that's cool.
The most recent video called What Happened to Fall River, right? What Happened to Fall River. If you go, there's about 14 people in that video sleeping in the woods. And if you watch it, you know, it brings tears to you. Because I've had people I play it and they actually like tear up watching it.
That's what, that wasn't necessarily my response, but that's what got me interested in you in the first place. And for instance, I know that, you know, we talk about Tent City, we're talking about the one behind the old Sam's Club down by the river, but there are smaller groups of people sleeping all over hell.
Yeah, so the one I was just talking about is even bigger. And that's on the Cook Pond banks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, it's kind of dying out. I think they've been trying to get them out of there.
A little too much attention.
Yeah, they're trying to clean that area out so that, you know, they get rid of their tents and then they got to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, you know, that and the panhandlers, we see the panhandlers, right?
Right.
You got to drive the avenue, you see them. You know, and I go out there and I talk to them, and most of them, I want to say maybe 10 out of 10, they've got something mentally wrong, and then, you know, leads to drug addiction, and it's, you know, it's sad because those are two problems that with enough attention and enough care.
And those are two problems, as you said, that are kind of meshed.
Yeah, they're intertwined.
Now,
yeah.
That, I mean, yeah, you do have the occasional person who
just out there for the fix, just to get the crack's expensive.
Yeah, and there's more crack in the city than there used to be.
Crack and crystal meth now.
Yeah,
crystal meth. I have a lot of friends.
Because I remember when it was heroin.
Yeah,
and pretty much like solely heroin.
Right, solely. You know, so I was an alleged dealer for a long time, and I don't want to say they're friends or they're associates, whatever you want to call them, right? People I know. I grew up with. I know a lot of people out here, and now that they went on the methadone clinic, they got clean, but now they're smoking crystal meth and shooting crystal meth, and it's shocking. Like I can't even believe it's in Fall River, and it's bad in Fall River, and you don't hear about it really yet. I think that's the next. In the next 5 years, that's going to be the next wave.
And they've been seeing nationwide a tendency of people who if you have a heroin habit, you get to the point where you're not shooting up to get high. You're shooting up to get well.
Right. So
you don't really
sick.
feel a high anymore.
Right.
So what a lot of people will do is they'll shoot up to get well, and then they'll smoke crack to feel a high they don't get from the junk anymore.
Yeah.
Or they'll smoke meth.
Yeah. See,
and that stuff takes hold fast.
Yeah. So like I was talking about, one of the videos I made, it was literally next door of my driveway. Came home, there was a car parked in the middle of my house, in the middle of the street, running, and I go, and it's my neighbors outside, a few neighbors, and there's a guy in the driveway, and he's smacking himself in the head, he's drip sweat, and then he's rocking, so I called him an ambulance, and then I was like, I'm going to put the camera on, raise a little bit of awareness.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I ended up finding out later, the guy thanked me. He was a little upset at first, but I had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
He was upset, why'd you do that? You ruined my career. But then he thanked me, and he's like, people have been reaching out to help me, blah, blah, blah. But that guy, he told me, he shot up heroin and crystal meth together, which, I've never used. I mean, I had a perk problem, I had a painkiller problem, and stuff like that. I've never used a needle.
Also huge.
Huge
issue.
I've never used a needle or anything like that, so I can't understand how anybody would want to get high that way. To me, that's just going far and beyond, But to mix all that stuff, it's just sad, like, and like I said, in Fall River now, it's readily available, and we don't hear about it really. I don't hear the Herald News and. I don't hear about it anymore.
I live in the city, and some of my contacts, whatever. But I'm starting to hear some stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can remember 10 years ago working as a reporter. Crack was, you would have had to hunt for it. This was good powder coke country, but crack and of course meth was like not that big a deal anywhere, except out in the west and the south.
Right, south.
It's a heroin city.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely sad the way what things have gone, and we got a government that is supposed to be the quality of life government that we have right now, and people that I voted in the office, help get in office that I voted for, and I'm still waiting for some quality of life assistance. We got some money that came in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to touch on that, but we got some money that came in, and I feel like it all went in directions that I wasn't expecting, But
I say all the time that at my age, I've lived through every single phase of the modern drug war. I have.
Okay.
I have.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. Started with Reagan, right?
Yeah, and absolutely none of it worked.
No.
Like I said, I used to be in high school, and I have like no history of illegal drug use. I smoked a joint a couple of times in college. I don't like it. It makes me sleepy.
You didn't inhale, right?
No, I inhaled. It makes me sleepy and slightly nauseous. But I drink.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember in high school that they get some guy up there that had like ruined his life with drugs, and he pulled out some broke down old ex-football player, and it didn't work at all. The stoners laughed at the guy.
Yeah.
And the guys like me who just drank beer, we figured, I don't have a dog in this fight.
Right.
Gives a damn how much coke that fool snorted. Got nothing to do with me. Like, nobody paid attention at all.
Right.
What is the answer?
The war on drugs is, let's say I'm trying to fight the drugs, right? I'm against it, but I'm supplying it at the same time. How does that make any sense? That's like me, I told you I had a pass and I put that away, but that's like if I was sitting here and then I'm going to go in the parking lot outside and make a couple of plays.
Better not do that, because it's going to make me unhappy after I do this.
But it's like, that's the war. That's literally what the war on drugs is. Don't do it. But, we're supplying it. We're bringing it into the country, and we're doing this. We've all seen the documentaries, from the stuff that this country brought in. But that's why it's a big joke. And you look at other countries like my, I don't want to say my homeland, but my Azorian people out there, Portugal, and they have less crime because they don't charge you criminally for the drugs now.
Right, they charge you civilly, and they really push hard for rehab.
Rehabs and
there's not a lot there. The country needs a hell of a lot more rehab than it has.
Yeah.
People wait for slots, people wait for beds,
Yeah.
and it doesn't always work anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody's got that magic bullet. I think that magic bullet there is motivation.
Motivation. You're not going to quit unless you're ready. Like with me I was sick of going to jail. So
it's a good enough reason.
I now I have 3 kids, but at the time I had 2 kids, and I was tired of not being in their lives.
Right.
If people who know me know that the number one thing they'll say, he's a good dad. I might have been addicted to painkillers. I might have been on the streets selling what and this and that. But my kids were always in my life and around me, and they did things and they went places, and they had everything.
Probably a little better now.
Yeah. So now it's like I feel good the way I do it now, because it's a clean way. I'm providing things for them that I earn a clean way.
Yeah, I mean, you can want to do something for yourself, but I think that sometimes wanting to do something for somebody else, a kid, a wife, whatever, is just as powerful a motivator. And I don't want to let her down. I don't want to let them down. I want to do right by these people who are depending on me. I think that's a very powerful motivator, and it gives you something. You don't feel like, it's purposeless. You feel like, okay, well, I'm,
right.
I know the crap I do to make my wife happy.
Well, it's like you got to live with yourself, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, unless you're someone who lives a you're a recluse and you live a solo life, you got to live for other people too, and you're around these people.
It makes it easy.
And they if they mean anything to you, they're the reasons you should be focusing on bettering yourself, and not just with just addiction, anything in life, careers and whatnot.
Yeah.
You got to better yourself for the people around you. And for me, that's what it was. I was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this. I gotta stop selling. I gotta stop hanging around with the certain people. And boom, it was like day and night.
You said you got sick of going to Dartmouth once a year.
Sick and tired of going to Dartmouth House Correction, eating God knows what and sleeping on a piece of metal.
Bologna for breakfast.
Wet bologna sandwiches. Yeah. We don't want to get into that. We don't want to upset Mr. Hodgson because he's a great guy. But yeah. So.
And you have a YouTube channel, right? That's mostly how you get this stuff out?
Yep, YaBoiLoCoTV. So
again, there you go.
If you see this logo, you're in the right spot.
It is genuine YaBoi LoCo stuff.
YaBoiLoCoTV. So I got the name Loco when I was about 10 years old.
I meant to ask that, but I hadn't. Yeah.
So they just called me Loco, hanging out in the parks, and Spanish guys back then. There was a song back in the day, it was popular. Insane in the Membrane.
Oh, yeah. Cypress Hill.
So in the beginning, he said, don't you know I'm Loco?
Yeah, Cypress Hill, man.
Around that time, I got the name.
Wow, I can't believe I pulled that out of the memory. Yeah.
So I got the name, and, I've always been crazy stuff. I played football. I was crazy at playing football. When I wrote music, I wrote crazy lyrics. Everything I did was just a little different than everybody, and I've always been outspoken and just always looking for a good time and catching wreck is what we call it, catching wreck, like having a good time, That's always been me, and I added the YaBoi on the beginning to it a few years back, and it's just, like I said, I would just take my phone, I'd go stop making videos, recording things I'd see. I recorded one time a person hit a hit and run, and she's driving 2 blocks with 3 tires trying to escape, and it's like, thing got me like 6,000 views in a week.
I was going to say, you have good views for that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's valuable as a city resident, like you said, you film what you see.
Right, exactly.
And
there are things we don't see. Right. On HNN now or whatever their
I can
pages.
remember 15 years ago coming home. It wasn't that late. It was like 9:30 at night, and I didn't live where I do now. I wasn't married. About 15, 20 years ago, I guess. I came home and there was a guy passed out on the steps to my house. Mm-hmm. And it's not funny, I know. He was covered in dollar bills.
Oh man! Wow.
So it's dark, and I'm picking the money up off,
Yeah.
and I'm folding it, and I'm stuffing it in the pocket of his jacket.
Yeah.
And my upstairs neighbor came down. He's like, "What's up?" I said, and we got him on his feet, and he got moving
Yeah. But
and took off. But the guy was laying there completely covered in dollar bills. Like, who would believe that, you know? But
yeah, you see that a lot.
and I worked downtown when I worked for the Herald News. They were Picasset Street, and so you know that walk to the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to where I knew names downtown.
Right.
You know, like the "Hey Richie" kind of thing. Here's 50 cents. You know.
Yeah.
And I got to where if I didn't see somebody for a while, I would think, uh-oh. But then I would see the guy in 6 months, and you know he'd been taking a state-sponsored vacation.
Yeah, I
you know?
get to know these guys too. Like the panhandlers, for example. Like I'll make a video. There's one guy out there. His name's Joe, and if you watch the video, it's called "People of Fall River Panhandle of Joseph." Right? It's on the channel. And you watch the video, and he's saying, "I'm looking for work," and this, that, the other, and a 12-year-old boy comes during my video. I didn't set it up, but he comes and hands the guy Burger King, and the guy's so thankful, and it's just like a really good video, right? And then a year later,
Slice of life, man.
I see Joe a year later, and he's standing up, but his head's on
It's like the dope fiend lean.
Yeah, the dope fiend lean. He's got his head on the ground, and I'm like, "Hey, Joe, wake up." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's I don't know, but.
And that's a short life. That's a short life.
It's a short life.
I remember driving around, just working as a reporter. I was in the car with one of our photographers, Dave Souza. Dave Souza, a few years older than I am. Dave went to Durfee, grew up in the South End. And there was a panhandler we used to see downtown all the time. And we were both in our 40s then, Dave and I. And Dave was probably 47. And Dave says to me, "How old do you think that guy is?" I said, "Looks about 65. And Dave says, "I graduated from high school with him. He's 47.
Yeah, that's what it'll do to you. The drugs, the alcohol, the drugs, yeah. And one thing I want to mention, talking about the panhandlers before I forget.
All right, I got to do my ads and wind up, but go ahead.
You want to do your...
Finish this.
Yeah,
All
finish.
right,
I just mean, we're coming to the end of it, but finish this, absolutely.
All right, so there are a few panhandlers that I've spoken to that suffered just mental addiction.
Right.
And then what happens is they're out there with there's a certain panhandler that's out there every single day. And I know for a fact, I know because other people there have telling me, that what's going on. This individual is out there just for his addiction. So what he does is he takes these mentally challenged people who are not out there for addiction, and he convinces them, hey, hold a sign, get some money.
He's pimping.
And to spend the money.
Right.
With that, so now they're addicts. And there's two individuals. One that was in the paper recently. They said he reached in and touched a girl. This guy, if you met this guy, he's completely mentally ill. I do not believe a thing.
I remember that though, yeah.
Yeah, he reached in a car and tried to grab a girl's breast. I highly, highly doubt it. Then you got the other guy, the African guy who didn't do drugs until he met the other panhandler, the one that's out there all day long, pretends he's a vet. And that guy is, getting these other guys to basically panhandle now, and it's sad. It's like, so I know we can't, NCAAP or whatever says we can't kick him off the corners, but that one individual, I think we need to reach that one individual.
Move him along, yeah.
Yeah, we need to reach him some way or another, and I think we'll solve that problem out there.
All right. He thinks this was a good segment. I knew it would be after we met.
That was so quick.
I know, the half hour goes really quick when you get to talking. So, we had YaBoiLoCo today and a half hour of me at the beginning. And we're going to run through a couple of ads and get out of here, man. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to get out of here, and you're going to get out of here.
I am going to get out of here.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go, man. Thanks
Thank
for coming
I
in.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
All right, thanks.
I'ma go back. Now we don't play that chopper gon' go back. So you don't know what the heck, but I bet your mama still gon' like me. Do it with the code, I'ma hype